This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. Welcome back to another episode of Pop Goes Degrassi, where tonight we are discussing Degrassi Next-Generation episodes from Season 2, Episode 14, titled Careless Whisper, and Episode 15, titled Hot for Teacher. A nice Van Halen reference in the next episode. But before we get to all of that, as you hear him in the background, I have my co-host with me as always. That is Mr. John Kesalika. John, how are you doing today, tonight, this morning, wherever you are? I know where you are.
We're doing great here, Grooney. Well, a belated happy Thanksgiving to you. A belated happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian Degrassi compatriots. And of course, you know, I'm thankful to be able to be here and talking about this wonderful show with you once again. And I'm especially thankful that we have, after White Wedding and all of the drama of the early part of season 2, that we got 2 Emma-free episodes here, right?
Yeah, she's in like one scene for like maybe the the second episode, and she's gone, and we're Craig free actually as well.
And what a great collection here as we get to really build out some of these characters even more. I think this is, and we'll talk about it, this is an episode where Spinner and Jimmy have their dynamic play out even better, and we get even more of them than just being kind of annoying foils or villains at time, and especially JT and even Kendra to a lesser extent. This is a great batch, so excited to get into it, sir.
Yeah, again, it's more like you said, it's all about character developing, and we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out like who's who and what's their storyline. And John, it's almost like the background, the directors were like, oh my gosh, is this character going to last? Are they going to like him? It's like, oh yeah, we're going to develop your storyline here, but we might kill you off in the next 3 episodes. you know?
Yeah. And we saw Hazel get some run earlier on, and she hasn't come back. So hopefully some of these that are getting some time to shine will get to stick around.
Yeah, they always call that the Degrassi black hole, where characters just disappear without any goodbyes and notifications.
Yep. So let's get into it and make sure some of these characters don't disappear into our black hole.
Yep. Well, let's start off with John, Season 2, Episode 14. It is titled Careless Whisper. We see the guys playing basketball as Marco is staring off at Sean while playing basketball with Jimmy as his teammate. Sean calls Marco a slur, and Marco laughs it off. When Spinner tells Jimmy he and Marco should be skins and have them put on their shirts, Marco tells them they just want to see Marco without a shirt. They all say, no, we don't. So remember those old days of shirts versus skins, John?
I sure do. I'm not sure if I would have needed shirts and skins in a 2-on-2 game. I think it's pretty easy to tell your teammate from your opponent in that case. But yeah, of course, shirts and skins is a very, very common way to break down teams when we were playing basketball. And I love the Marco just turning it back around on him. Oh yeah, you just want to see me with my shirt off to get out of having to do so here. But definitely playground memories of some pickup games and just awkward 2-on-2 basketball, but trying to be like the Knicks in the early 90s.
Yep, and already an F-bomb, not that F word, another F word, right off the bat. They start off strong with it.
This episode does not shy away from it, my friend, as we get it a couple times throughout. Yeah, and I'm surprised that even in screenings online, it doesn't come with a trigger warning ahead, as we see in some messages. I think the WWE would put up this doesn't reflect our current views or values, whatnot. But Degrassi, nah, we don't need to do anything like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think even Disney is better than WWE at saying warning contents. That was then, this is now, and we're very, very sorry.
Exactly.
Ellie and Marco are talking, and then he meets up with the guys. Ellie tells Ashley she wants more than friendship with Marco. So we're going back to this whole Ellie and Marco relationship. The last time we saw them was when Marco and Ellie were getting together, of Ellie saying, "I like you," and then she tried to send anonymous notes, but then Marco thought it was Hazel, but then when the truth came out, Marco said, "I like you too, Ellie." So we're going with this relationship storyline here.
Absolutely. We're still going over it, from his last wonderful ending of the girls like Ellie Nash, moment of them coming together. It's still, I guess it's been stalled at that point since then, of both of them saying, "I like you," and then, I don't know, the awkward 8th gradeness, 9th gradeness of not knowing exactly how to proceed from there. If only there were someone with greater knowledge, like Dr. Sally, to come and help push them in a good direction.
Yeah, speaking of Dr. Sally, the last time we talked about Dr. Sally was in season 1, where she was teaching everybody about the safety of putting on condoms and having condoms for protection when having sex. And you thought Jimmy and Ashley were going to have sex, but they don't in their relationship in season 1. But Mr. Simpson in the media room announces Dr. Sally is returning to speak at Degrassi to the freshmen. I don't know if she did the 8th graders too, but this was mostly for the freshmen. And even Jimmy goes, "But sir, didn't we do this last year?" And Mr. Simpson is right, but this time we're doing it where we're going to learn about sexual identity and having safe sex with the same sex. Try saying that 3 times fast.
I think Jimmy really speaking for the audience here, like kind of the eye roll of, didn't we do Dr. Sally already, Degrassi? Do we need to bring her back for this? But it seems that the writers have figured out, if we need to introduce a topic and we're not exactly sure how to get the characters to do it, let's just throw an outside participant in to give a lecture in class, and that'll get the characters thinking in the right direction.
It would have been funny if that was just Aubrey Graham just speaking out to her. It's like, dude, we just did this already, bro. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, that was left over from like a cast reading when they were reading through the script. Is he said, "Didn't we do this script?" And they said, "That's a great, go with it." Jimmy would say exactly that.
So we're still developing on Jimmy here as the cool but like sly character.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Dr. Sally did give him that great advice as he was, in a very committed 7-month-long relationship with Ashley at the time, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think it was actually 8. I think they were going for number 8, actually.
Oh, all right. So I didn't mean to downplay the seriousness of Jimmy and Ashley. It was such a torrid love affair.
Yeah, but again, Spinner uses the F-bomb as well. And Mr. Sims like, "Gavin, no, we're not using that is a derogatory word, and we're not using it." I don't know if there were were there episodes about people coming out and being gay in the original series, John?
Yeah, original Degrassi definitely dealt with homosexuality. and with some hate speech around it too. Spinner here is obviously speaking in the ignorant in terms of, that it's HIV prevention and whatnot, because that's the only thinking as if that's the only way to get AIDS. So Mr. Simpson, calming them down and saying, hey, here's why it is, why we're having this conversation, why it's valuable for everybody. I wonder as well, we said about Jimmy kind of saying, didn't we do this last year? I wonder if they also gave Mr. Simpson these lines about who is Dr. Sally, so that an American audience who might not be so familiar with this personality actually understands why this person is there in the first place, instead of just being dropped in to see that there's some real cultural value to her.
Yeah, and Dr. Sally is a real person, again, just for the record, right, John? Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Kind of like, I don't know if you were, I guess for you it would be like Dr. Drew from Love Lines, or in that realm, right? And Dr. is like a Canadian version of that.
I gotcha. But for us, it was just a health teacher, basically. We didn't really need a special doctor lady to teach us all this stuff.
but Gruny, you did not go to Degrassi Community School. So let's be honest. You did not have media immersion class and whatever. And I love in this episode, what teachers teach what gets even more confusing, as now Mr. Armstrong teaches the health class, I guess, as well. From math teacher to health teacher as well, right?
I guess because he's the gym teacher, they were like, oh, we'll just put you in the health department too, since you're already teaching gym. And I thought Dr. Sally was actually discussing their doing the speech during math class, for all I know.
Maybe. Let's take a break from differentials, guys, and let's get into same-sex relationships. Yep.
Dr. Sally is in the classroom. She gives a speech about wearing condoms, not only teaching them about the safety of condoms with the opposite sex, but also with the safe sex. Ellie looks at Marco. Spinner and Jimmy laugh about same sex, but get caught by Coach Armstrong. Jimmy asks, how are men attracted to other men? And Dr. Sally says the same way a male is attracted to a female. Paige says her brother is gay and knew it all along. Dr. Sally says, that could always be a thing, but again, it takes time to develop. Ashley asks, if parents are gay with their kid, will their kids be gay as well? And she says that again, it's not all the time, but there might be the gay gene. I don't know, but I've almost forgot that Ashley had to deal with her dad being gay, and I was like, why is Ashley asking the question? I was like, oh, because her dad's gay. That's why. I almost forgot that part, John.
Yeah, we get, both our two main female characters chiming in with their own gay relatives. They're conveniently there. But, no, I didn't forget Ashley's father being gay. I think she raises a good question about the concerns with genetics and if it is something that is inherited. And Degrassi is no way taking a position on one way or the other. I think they do a nice job of introducing, there are a lot of unknowns about this, and what's important is doing what you are comfortable with and what your nature is, like what you in being your true self. And I think Dr. Sally really hammered that home eloquently.
And Terry is saying now that being gay is a sin. Dr. Sally says, what is the bigger sin? Being yourself or pretending to be something you're not? And that opens up Marco's eyes even more as well. Is he pretending to be something that he's not, or is he scared to be himself? How did you feel about Terry getting this part here?
Yeah, poor Terry. They couldn't have fed this line to somebody else. Even give give a random student that line. Like Terry seems not like the person who would chime in with, "Isn't this a sin?" I don't think we've seen her ever say anything spiritual or anything related to those morals outside of her connections with the Oracle. So seems like just a throwaway line to give to somebody, and I think would have been better suited for Spinner even, since he and Jimmy are kind of stone-headed about this already. Like, why not keep them involved?
I would have given it to Hazel maybe and be like, well, in being a Somalian, they say this is a sin and whatnot. Someone with cultural background.
Okay, yeah, some actual motivation behind it. With Terry, I agree with you. I don't really see it.
Yeah, because she's not homophobic. It's so random of her. I mean, neither are the other kids. I mean, maybe Spinner is if we get along, but it's like, Terry, no. But let's move on, John. We got
Terry's a model. How many, homosexuals does she meet in her regular fashion gigs?
No, I don't know. I mean, unless she's going to drag shows. So Kendra and Toby wave at each other. Toby starts to make kissing faces at Kendra and is caught by Mr. Simpson, embarrassing Kendra. And Mr. Simpson goes, "Kendra, tell your boyfriend you're on my time, not his time." And even Kendra's like, "Yeah, Toby, what the hell? Like, ridiculous." Dr. Sally concludes her speech, and Ellie talks to Dr. Sally about Marco, like, how do I know if this guy likes me or not? And it's like, well, it takes time. You just gotta go with it. And then Spinner hands Marco a what is it? He hands out like a female, like the female kits, and Marco, and makes fun of Marco. Marco says he hates gays, but he says something else too. Toby is looking for Kendra. Yeah,
Marco dropped a hard F.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Marco dropping the hard F bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what you were describing is, they have the personal hygiene kits that were put aside for both boys and girls, complete with the deodorant that it seems Spinner might not have gotten. We'll see in the next episode. Maybe he didn't take one home. Maybe he handed his off to somebody else, and pushes the female one on Marco, or Marcy, I think he calls Marco, which prompts Marco to act, respond in the complete opposite and overly aggressive, drops that hard F-bomb and says, I hate gays, and take the regular, packet of Right Guard and shaving cream instead so that he can move on. Ella has her mission from Dr. Sally to be honest about her feelings with Marco, just open up and give him time to share back. Maybe that will help, because they haven't really had that discussion aside from that he said, I like you.
And even Jimmy's like, Marco, chill, man. We were just kidding. And he's like, no, man, I really don't like gays, blah, blah, blah. Like, so Marco's trying to be one with the guys. But even Jimmy's like, wow, that's out of left field for Marco to say. Marco's like the peaceful and accepting one.
Peaceful, accepting, breakdancing one, what's going on here, Marco?
Mm-hmm. Toby is trying to woo Kendra. Kendra says they should cool things down, and Toby wants to spend more time with her. Toby, when your girlfriend tells you that she wants alone time, take the advice and go with it.
Toby just playing the role of, the guy who has his first ever girlfriend here and doesn't know what to do with it and is going as overboard as it can be. The, kissy faces outside the classroom that are almost like stalking the, putting together a schedule for them to have study time. I appreciated the use of stickers in his schedule, but blocking out hockey practice for Kendra. Come on, Toby, try not to monopolize your girl's time like this.
Yeah, chill, Toby. Marco goes on Dr. Sally's website and pulls up a page about maybe being gay, but then he almost gets caught by Spinner and Jimmy as they're like, "Oh, Marco, you gonna walk home with us?" And he's like, "You guys go ahead. I'll catch up with you guys later." Ellie and Marco are eating gummy worms, and Ellie asks if they are only just friends, and Marco goes one step beyond and asks Ellie out on a date. So Marco, trying to prove that he's not gay and he likes women, actually asks Ellie out.
Yeah, go for it, Marco. I mean, obviously a lot of denial here on his part and real confusion, just trying to be something that he isn't, but you hope for the best. And Ellie, poor Ellie having to be on the receiving end of this is really, kind of just confused, and truly has feelings for Marco and definitely likes him and wants to date, but I don't know. You can see how at the slightest positive sign from him, her fears are put aside, whereas maybe she should still have that radar up a little bit, the antenna up, thinking that was a little too easy to have him just switch to, let's go on a date.
Yep. Well, at the movie theater, Ellie moves her hand towards Marco, and Marco reciprocates it, but he sneezes and pulls away. Ashley and Ellie are talking about the date. Ashley thinks Marco doesn't like girls, but Ellie assures her that he is straight.
There you go. Ashley immediately, going to this conclusion that, it could be something else. Could be that he's just gay, and understandable given her recent findings with her dad. But, Ellie not wanting to hear that at all, just saying, hey, I would expect to hear that from Spinner, but not from you, Ashley. So I don't know, their friendship dynamic still being a bit tested here, as poor Ellie is hanging in the balance of Marco's kind of search for identity.
Toby is decorating Kendra's locker, and even Manny says he is smothering Kendra. Kendra walks off mad. Then Spinner tries to make fun of Marco again, but Marco says him and Ellie are boyfriend and girlfriend, and he tells them that they made out, but Spinner already can tell Marco is lying. So when Manny tells you cool it, you really should cool it. Like, Manny learned from Craig, and even that was a disaster. It's like, I had this whole bad feeling, bro. Like, I know what you're going through, but you got to cool it, man.
Yeah, just a season ago we had, or maybe even less, we had Manny decorating Craig's locker the whole way, to where he said, it's not the locker I don't like, it's you. And now here's Toby with hearts and, stuffed animals and, oh boy, just the creepiest, keepsake of a heart with his picture in the middle of it for Kendra to have. I don't blame her for just, breaking through the wrapping paper to get to her lock and shoving that heart in the locker without giving it much thought. This guy is too much. And, hopefully he will come to temper those emotions a little more and be a bit more rational.
Yeah. Toby is worried about Kendra dumping him. Marco and the guys are walking outside, and Sean says, oh, there's Marco's girlfriend. Marco actually goes over to Ellie and kisses her, and they start making out. So, again, Marco trying to prove.
Yeah. And another moment where Ellie, who is so conflicted and goes back and forth to thinking, I'm getting mixed signals. I don't know, what's going on. Maybe I should move on from this. Gets just a completely different signal in the other way as Marco's like, hey, I forgot to do this at the end and kisses her, and she feels once again reassured. Okay, yeah, this is a relationship. You feel for Ellie here, as this is for all intents and purposes probably her first boyfriend, and she's not exactly sure how to navigate it and to deal with somebody who probably doesn't really have feelings for women in the same way is just tough for her. But hey, it elicits cheers from even Jimmy and Spinner who are admiring this. Spinner gives out a Marco as they know, great, we've got a real man with us, I guess. Now he can play shirts versus skins, right?
Yeah. Kendra is talking about her soccer game in which Kendra scored a goal in, and then she runs into Toby. Toby gets mad at Kendra, and she walks off. She walks off upset for some reason. Like, I mean, again, Toby making a big deal out of nothing when Kendra was like, we just gotta take things down. But Toby's going one step beyond.
Yeah, Toby completely misreading things again. As like with this balance, Kendra being able to do the things she still enjoys and wanting to share that with Toby afterwards. She sees him, she's happy to see him after she's come from the soccer game. But Toby just is too much in his own head and thinking, well, why wasn't I, a part of it or being there? Or why weren't we just spending time together? Feels like he's being discarded. Poor woe is me Toby, get out of here with this garbage. But you could definitely see like Kendra was genuinely excited to see him, and it's a shame that he has to be so melodramatic about it and feel like it's either all or nothing, I guess.
Yep.
But hey, how come she went from hockey practice to a soccer game? What's up with that, writers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was soccer. But you bring up an excellent point. It's like, well, what season is it? Maybe they didn't know what season it was.
No. And we'll get her. She plays hockey later on, too, but oh well.
My gosh. Field hockey or whatever.
Yep.
Jesus. So the freshman gang is watching a movie at Ashley's house. And Ellie says she's going upstairs. Marco follows her. They start to make out. Ellie wants more than just kissing, but Marco can't bring himself to kiss her. Ellie asks Marco if she is hot, and Marco says, "Yeah, Ellie, you're hot." Ellie then asks if Marco likes girls, and Marco comes clean and says he's confused.
Yeah.
So we get a big reveal here that Marco is confused if he likes girls or not.
Yeah, not sure if it's a huge reveal, but it's at least a nice moment of them feeling comfortable enough to be honest with each other. Marco has been unable to share this with anybody, but clearly, like with Ellie, I think he's starting to feel bad and not wanting to, lead her on or put her in. Mess with her feelings the way it has been so far with going this hot and cold status in their relationship. So being able, just as Dr. Sally said to Ellie, of opening up and giving him the space to talk, this has given them that moment to be honest and say, all right, maybe this is what we're dealing with here. So Marco finally kind of getting it out in the open that he's not sure exactly who he is or what he likes right now.
Yeah. And Ellie does seem like that really great friend who will like listen. And I feel that they go hand in hand together with as like best friends. Like if Marco is gay, we don't know yet if he's gay or not. But again, Ellie just seems like the best friend. And I've always seen like that, that person who has stepped out and is gay have a best friend, a best female friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to see her with people other than just Ashley here, and really getting some time to shine with her personality and get to understand like her feelings and her own character a little more. She's not kind of just this background character. We even, have her hanging out with Paige and Jimmy and Terry at Ashley's house. So it's good to see, like you said, with that black hole looming, that Ellie seems to be getting a chance here to be more integrated into the main mix with our characters.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's nice that they're all friends too, and Ellie mingling with Paige and them, and it's like, oh, Ashley and Paige are friends again.
Yeah, we seem to have buried that hatchet a little bit. The great hag off of whatever it would have been 2001 or so seems to have subsided a bit, and everybody is a bit happier. Maybe the spirit of Mr. Simpson and Spike's wedding has put everybody in a more unified mood here. Even Sean is hanging out around Jimmy even more in these episodes, right?
Yep. So, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I guess so. Everyone's just hanging out with each other now all of a sudden. Toby is seen ripping out pictures of Kendra in his locker. Toby says Kendra doesn't like him anymore. Kendra kisses him and says she likes him, but not when he's around her all the time. Jimmy and Spinner ask about Marco going upstairs with Ellie, and Ellie says that they should be jealous. She then tells Marco she can't keep on covering for Marco, and asks if Marco wants to go check out the gay youth group that Dr. Sally recommended. But Marco isn't ready for that, and Ellie says she will be there for Marco when he is. And that basically wraps up our first episode here, John. So, again, let's go back to this Toby thing. Kendra still likes Toby.
Well, there's got to be somebody there's somebody for everybody, I guess, right? But good for Toby that he's hopefully learning some boundaries and understanding that he can't, be everything to this one girl, and she needs to actually be able to live her life still. So hopefully he will, ease off things a bit if he wants to continue this relationship. And, once again, just solid shout out to Ellie, proving to be maybe the best friend we've seen out of any of the cast members here. She was supportive of Ashley and there for her when others had kind of like turned their back on her and didn't want to deal with her. And now she's, really understanding of Marco, and even says like, hey, I can't pretend forever with you, but I'll I will keep whatever, a secret here and support you in any way. Truly a good person to have in your life. So good for Ellie.
Yep. MVP, John, I'm going to go with Marco. I think he did a very great job with portraying the character of trying to find himself. Am I gay? Am I not gay? Do I like girls? I can't let the guys know that I might not like girls because they'll make fun of me forever, and they're already dropping the F-bombs at me. Yeah. I can see I know where you're going. You're going to go with Ellie for portraying the best friend role, aren't you?
We're talking about most valuable to the episode. I guess, it's built around Marco's whole ordeal, his search for identity here. So I would lean with you. I think Marco, when given, this is the first time we've given this character, a full storyline to explore. He's been kind of a side character with the guys on the road trip, on the, weekend away at Joey's house, and than in his secret admirer storyline with Ellie. But when given like the full A plot, he really added some depth here and some complexity to, the inner conflict he's thinking of, confusion of trying to figure out, does he like girls or boys really? And, I think he handled it nicely, and really showed that struggle that can exist at that time for a teen trying to figure such things out. So yeah, I know I'd definitely be on board with Marco, with Ellie as a strong second, just as for that supportive friend role, and also for her, having to deal with the same confusion as she's seeking this connection with the boy and getting back and forth between the mixed signals she gets. You really feel for her as she so easily is swayed positive and then once again disillusioned after, a date goes wrong or just doesn't end how she had wanted to. So good job on both parts. But yeah, Marco could be MVP here. Absolutely.
LVP, John, who do you have?
Can we throw the entire B plot into this? Like every participant in it? I would, but I think Kendra in her own right was strong enough here to push back on Toby and show just how ridiculous he was. So this is an easy LVP of poor misguided, first time in love, in quote unquote love, kissy face making, hall wandering, locker stalking Toby Isaacs. I don't know how long he stayed up crafting his little heart with a selfie in it for Kendra to take, but I'm glad that she tossed it aside with just as quickly as I would have. She should have just given it back to him and said, "Here, hang this in your room instead. I don't need it." Get out of here, Toby. Like, leave that we're talking grade 8 students here. Like, he's acting like some like 4th grade, 5th grade boy at this point. And I think, you're supposed to be the smart kid here. Get out of here, Toby.
Okay, John, I'll tell you one quick story because I know we're on a little time period here. A guy in my sister's grade, when they were in the 5th grade, he stole his mom's jewelry and gave it to a girl. And then the mom, I think, and then the teacher called the guy's mom was like, Mrs. So-and-so, you might want to come up here. And the poor girl had to get back all the jewelry that the dude stole from his mom.
Exactly, yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. Oh, God, I was dying when my sister told me that story. Like, yeah. It's like, those are mine, sweetheart. It's like, no, Mike gave them to me. Yeah, Toby should have just done that.
We've all met a Toby, and we've all met somebody like this who's had their first girlfriend and just, has that first girlfriend energy about him. So, Toby just embodies it here in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, he is the LVP. A strong second, I would say, is Spinner, just for like the way his whole behavior and immaturity of this episode is LVP status.
Yeah, Spinner not exactly the most glad, friendly character here to put in any perspective.
Yep. All right, John, let's move on to episode 15. This is Hot for Teacher. Miss Hatzilakos is teaching science to the 8th graders, and JT is goofing off. JT starts to perform a puppet show with plastic mastodons made out of popsicle sticks here. And Miss H gives him guinea pig duty for a week. JT actually looks thrilled about this.
Is this the first introduction, the first meeting of Miss Hatzilakos that we get? This first appearance?
I think this is like a first full episode of her. I think she's been like tidbits of like introducing like what she teaches maybe on like the first day or something. But I think she's in like snippets of episodes, John.
Okay. They do a lot of lingering, like camera lingering on Miss Hatzilakos throughout these scenes in the classroom, particularly on her lower half, as JT's gaze and maybe the camera's gaze kind of follow along to show that kind of student-teacher infatuation that you would associate at some time, falling in love with the attractive teacher. And I thought it was a nice dynamic to set up at first and introduce, hey, is that JT acting out, partly because of that or just his nature, but sure, lands him with guinea pig duty. I never had any classroom pets in middle school, even in grammar school, I would say, and definitely not in high school. What about you guys? Any classroom pets?
Yeah, but I don't think we were on take them home duty. No, we were not. But we definitely had, I think, Jack the guinea pig or Jack the hamster here. Yeah, so it's weird. Like, it's not weird, but again, if I didn't know that Miss Hatzlakos was a science teacher, I would have been like, "Who are you, and why are you the new principal?" When we get there, eventually.
Yep, exactly. Miss Hot Sauce, though, as Sean dubs her later on. So it's she's definitely respected by the male students for other reasons, and they play that up throughout. But sure, yeah, we got JT thrust into what our plot for basically this whole episode is about. JT with the science teacher.
Yep, Miss H is explaining what guinea pigs eat. JT tries to make jokes. Sean wants to know how detention was with Miss H, and JT embellishes it. And we have a B plot here. Spinner is in Coach Armstrong's math class getting help, and the rest of the class and Coach Armstrong smell his bad body odor.
Yeah, a B plot, Gurney, or a BO plot here in this case?
That's a good one.
As we move in. Yeah, Spinner, full sleeveless attire for class, I guess, is smelling pretty ripe. And the classmates notice it. And, Ellie to the rescue, once again, points out to him as she says, first rule of puberty is to shower every day.
Yep.
Well, yeah, like I said before, maybe Spinner didn't take that hygiene kit from Dr. Sally last episode too seriously.
No, he did not. And then he goes up to Jimmy and he's like, why you didn't tell him about his body odor? And it's not Jimmy's responsibility to tell you about body odor and stinking. I mean, it's your parents who should give you proper deodorant and hygiene of lessons. I mean, John, did your parents tell you? I mean, I'm sure everyone found out naturally. It's like, hey, I stink. Maybe I should wash and stuff too. But I'm sure the health teacher or your parents taught you about deodorant and body spray when you got to the age of 12 to 13.
Gurney, I was on the other side. I was so swayed by the different right guard ads and everything. We had the ones with Hogan. We had the different ones that would come out that were it's a gel, or then there were different scents of it, sport versus fresh versus whatever. And I stocked up. I can't tell you how many of the different deodorants I had, and then of course the different. And this is taking it back, of the different Stridex pads or wipes or everything that we had. Oh yeah, man, the CVS hygiene aisle I was a candy store for me at times. I think
I had to find out the hard way that you need aluminum free, or your body will have a bad reaction.
Okay.
Yep, and I was like, oh, there's the I'm like, why am I scratching so much? Oh, it might be that. And I was like, yep, I need aluminum free, and it's got to be gel. It can't be powder anymore.
There you go.
Never again. So yeah, and Spinner then goes, well, we got to be honest with each other from now on. And Jimmy's like, okay.
I'm dead set right here. I'm getting flashbacks to George Costanza deciding that he's going to do the opposite of everything he would normally do, almost, if they're going to say, all right, we're going to just be honest all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Toby makes fun of JT in math class, saying Miss H is JT's new girlfriend. And Emma and Manny both are like, ew, that's so gross. They comment that Miss H is way too old for him. And they're giving the rule of 7. John, I was told that in 9th grade, you should not try to, they made it seem like it was kind of like wrong morally. I don't know if it was illegal, but like dating someone who was 18 when you're only 14 was like, and not that it wasn't allowed, but it was kind of frowned upon, like trying to date a senior.
Well, yeah, I mean, by the law, it's illegal, but I
guess so.
Of course, but I think there are thoughts of how an individual is developed, mentally and emotionally, and even physically at that point, to that it's not exactly compatible. Manny introduces her rule of age, that it's half your age plus 7 is appropriate. Right. And
I was like, what kind of Canadian law is this?
Half your age plus 7. And I would say now, like, I unfortunately do not pass Ellie's rule, as my girlfriend is half my age plus 5. So I don't know. Manny might be coming for me to tell me something's wrong.
Yeah, I don't get it either. So it's like half your age. So if they're 14 and 7 plus another 7, they can only date 14-year-olds? Like, I don't get that.
That's actually, you're right. Yeah. Good point.
I mean, I guess so. They can only date like 14-year-olds. Like, I mean, yeah, you can try for a 15-year-old, like that's it basically. But she does have a point though. Like, you can't really be dating your teacher, and nor should you be dating like girls who are 17 or older.
Yeah, definitely not. Like we can get away from, and Degrassi definitely toes the line with what they feel about teacher-student relationships at times. At points, it's painted as completely inappropriate. At other times, it's painted as almost romantic. Here, I think it's just playful, like, student crush, though.
Yeah, John, have you ever had a high school teacher go to your graduation parties or one of your friends' graduation parties?
Did not. No, never had anything like that.
There was a rumor when I was in the 8th grade. My mom was an English teacher that the English teacher resigned after rumors of her going to a student's high school graduation party and hooking up, as they say, was a story for the summer.
That'll carry the gossip mill for an entire summer easily. Yeah, and for years.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Our theater teacher was dismissed the year after I graduated for making passes at a student and for, I guess, like sending notes as a secret admirer and such too. Boy. And then, pretty ugly scene. But maybe I should have been on to something about that. And when in our theater class, like at times you'd be like, let's sit in a circle and give each other shoulder massages, and think like, maybe there's something up here, but I don't know. That was as extreme as it got in the New Jersey suburbs for me.
Yep. So now we're getting back into Miss Kwan's poetry class. As in poetry, Ashley is reading a poem, and when Miss Kwan asks for comments about the poem, Spinner looks at Jimmy, and Jimmy goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this." And he honestly says, "It sounded like a suicide note." Ashley storms off, but Miss Kwan says all comments are fair game since it's what is the word? It's like criticism. Constructive criticism. Yes. I said helpful criticism. I was like, yeah, that's not it. It's constructive criticism.
Yeah, this is immediately preceded by Jimmy. This is immediately preceded by Jimmy and Spinner making throat slashing gestures as Ashley reads the poem. I don't think we ever is Ashley the only student who ever presents poems in this class. I feel like we've never seen like any of the other students when they cut back to these courses. It's always Ashley and then getting a comment from Spinner and Jimmy. I think last time they were like, this poem sounds like poo or something like that, making fun of the rhyme scheme. I
think even Ashley had the poem about getting raped too.
She did, yeah. That Paige was upset that she couldn't really relate to it. So I don't know. Maybe one of these days, some other student will get to participate in that class. But Ashley seems to shut it down each time. Or maybe they should start with somebody else since they know Ashley's is gonna grind the discussion to a halt.
Yeah, and it's very dramatic. Like, start off with like, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. It's like, okay, too easy. Next.
There you go.
Yep. Okay. Oh, yeah. JT. Oh, so Miss Hatzilakos then pulls JT aside to tell him Isabella the guinea pig is pregnant. JT is doing research for Miss H. Toby and Sean call JT a teacher's pet, and JT stuffs balloons in his shirts. And he starts posing as Miss Hatzilakos, or Miss Hot Sauce, as they say, and she's very, very offended by this, and JT gets into more trouble.
Oh yeah, definitely crossing the line here, and JT pushed to it by his friends because he's trying to not seem like a teacher's pet and trying to still kind of clown around. So unfortunately gets busted by Miss H, who had been trying to support JT and help him be a more productive student, as we'll later learn. But in this case, really just kind of she's left heartbroken that he's making fun of her help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, wrong on JT when when Ms. Hatzilakos has been very helpful to JT, but JT just wants to show off even more. Mm-hmm. Jimmy is telling Spinner that not everyone likes the truth, but Ashley actually comes up to him and says, "Thank you for saving her poem." Spinner then says getting back together with Ashley is a bad idea. It makes Jimmy look weak, and he is a puppet to Ashley. Way to be a good friend, Spinner.
Yeah, this is the honesty pact, really showing all sides of it here. Jimmy leads in saying he was pissed off because being honest now had ruined his chances with Ashley. They were close to getting back together, though I don't know if that's really the case. He seemed to have a better read on that than I did, or a different read. But as she says, hey, thank you for the honesty because I redrafted it and was able to do something different. And yeah, Spinner says, all right, but my honest opinion is that this relationship is no good for you. So leads to them once again just like barking insults at each other as they go to the bus, as Spinner is getting on the bus, right? Like, hey,
yep.
Hey, more about BO, more about like, what do we have? Onions and shrimp crackers thrown in there. That Spinner pees on the toilet seat, so that's why Jimmy's mom doesn't want him to come over to the house. Like just lobbing jabs at each other. This whole way to the bus. It's pretty funny, and a different dynamic from them than we've seen. I thought it was actually really fun.
Yeah, JT then sees Miss Hatzilakos outside, and he apologizes profusely to her. And Miss H says that JT is very intelligent, but wastes time by always being a class clown. Then we see Jimmy. He makes a list about all Spinner's facts that are negative towards Spinner. And then JT realizes the guinea pig Isabella got out of her cage. JT and Miss Hatsalakos try to catch her, but she runs into a dark vent area. Miss H says she is not safe because the janitor sprayed fumes in the vents. Your thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, we might. We're now. Geez, yeah. So JT getting to the heart of why Miss H had been so hurt that she really wanted a lot for JT. She sees him as a good student, but wasting his time being a class clown. And, he's seemingly wanting to, recommit and still help out with the guinea pig. And of course, then seeing that he got out, that Isabella got out, rushing for the help here, heightens a little sense of drama for them. I guess I'd kind of gotten into it before. I love the airing of grievances here that Jimmy and Spinner are going to get into as they list out each other's faults, and you wonder, why are these guys friends really in the first place if they have all these things that they can't stand about each other?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a fun one-upsmanship of, hey, yeah, well, you think you're bad? You think I'm bad? Here's something about you that they turn around on each other. Again, I thought that this as far as a B plot was actually pretty fun.
Yep. And then, like you said, Jimmy goes running towards Spinner as he's getting on the bus. He reads all the grievances, and then he's like, when the guy looks at him, Jimmy's like, "What? You got something to say? I'll read off yours too, man."
Exactly. I got a lot of problems with you people. Jimmy going all out. Yeah, gonna go full Drake in just a diss battle here or something. I guess, but I don't know if you want to really be a stickler for continuity. Spinner now taking the bus home instead of walking home with Jimmy. Hey, like we were last episode. Okay, but doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's not even a school bus either. No yellow school bus. They let these kids go on the regular buses.
Hey, in Vietnam, we're just riding bikes in normal traffic here, so
maybe the late bus.
Yeah.
Miss H and JT try to get Isabella out. Miss H says she will stay, but JT wants to stay as well. JT tries to figure out ideas. She tries to figure out ideas to get out, to get Isabella out of the vet. But Miss H tells JT that he should go for his goals after he graduates. Isabella comes out, and then Isabella comes out. So Ms. H is like, you're funny. I mean, if you do want to become a comedian, try comedy, but graduate first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And JT showing that, quality student that he can be, has researched and knows, they like dark spaces to have the baby and, and soothing music. So he's tuning in some classical music and dims the lights in the room, perhaps a romantic setting, but obviously more so the setting to help Isabella to give birth in peace.
Spinner realizes the truth hurts, and he tells Jimmy that as well. That it's like, hey, we don't need to be honest with each other, but let's try and help each other out from time to time. And Jimmy agrees. Miss Kwan comes in with pen ink all over her mouth, but the boys say nothing.
The perfect punchline to this entire honesty storyline, as they're presented with some honesty that they definitely do not want to share, as it'll let them too much enjoyment for them in class to let Miss Kwan go through teaching with these blue lips the entire way. And Miss Kwan somehow not noticing her pen is leaking all over the place, just goes on with the lesson. So, you know what? Good to have the boys back on the same page. And, maybe being a bit more honest with each other, but at the same time, working together. So good stuff.
And then we get a wrap up here of JT talking to Sean and Toby about what happened with JT staying after school with Miss Hatzalakos, and he tells the truth. And Toby and Sean are so bored by that story that they walk away.
Yeah, and that's how the episode ends. These guys are expecting like a penthouse letter. Something from JT, some crazy story to come through, and he's shuts it down and says, no, it's something so beautiful getting to see a guinea pig give birth, and here they are, 4 beautiful baby guinea pigs hanging out with Isabella. So JT somewhat redeemed here, and maybe taking that step away from just being a clownish side character here, as we see a little character building from him, and even ambition in fields of vet medicine and comedy, as he successfully teams with Miss H in this point.
Mm-hmm. MVP here, John. Who do you have?
Man, he's the main story, so I guess I would. I don't think we've seen him take this over before, but yeah, JT, similar to Marco and Ellie last episode, getting the chance to take a storyline and run with it. We're away from the Emma or Craig centered things, and it's nice to see these 7th or 8th grade characters really develop more, and see a reason why they're going to stick around and be a part of the main cast. I loved all of JT's work here, and it showed that, despite having this kind of tendency towards just joking around, he does have some real goals and interests, and I thought this was a good episode for him.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to JT as well. We have not seen him take over a full a storyline, like you said. He's always the funny B storylines, again, trying to see a stripper, the Pringles, the ecstasy pill that cost and just like everything, even the porn too.
His poor cousin hooking him up with those great websites and even the ecstasy pill. Yeah, we got JT, doing something a bit more, I don't know, not really serious, but actually like character building here. So yeah, this is really, really great for him. Even Miss H, to a point, getting some shine as a teacher who's not just there to kind of bounce off like Miss Kwan and Mr. Anderson are, really. So nice to see both of them. So yeah, I'd go JT as our MVP.
Yeah, I would give Miss H runner-up MVP. She had some very encouraging words for JT, as go for your goal, but graduate first.
Yeah, perhaps the most supportive teacher we've seen outside of Mr. Simpson. So nice to see that for a teacher dynamic here.
LVP, John, who do you have? Because this one was a little. I don't know who the LVP was.
Yeah, everybody here. I really enjoyed the B plot, so it's tough to slag any of those guys for what they did in their honesty pact, but least valuable out of the whole thing.
I don't think it's least valuable character. I think it's LVP and just whining and stuff. And I definitely think if character-wise, Spinner is bad in this episode, not only because he's like, well, why didn't you tell me I stung, blah, blah. It's like, Spinner, how can you not tell that you stink? I mean, some other time, yeah, there are times when you're just like, dude, did you forget this morning? But it's like, Spinner, how many times have you forgotten to put on your deodorant? It's like, why not be supportive of Jimmy trying to get back with Ashley if he wants to go for it?
Yeah, Spinner, I guess, to that point, always like showcasing maybe not exactly the best friend one can hope for. So yeah, let's go Spinner as our LVP here. Good old Spinner, always happy to have that. Toby, if Toby could have gotten in some other bad lines, I would have been happy to throw him in here, but he was pretty inoffensive in this episode, just kind of looking for gossip about Miss H instead.
Mm-hmm. And John, you know who's been missing in action? It's Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty nowhere near these episodes, right? I guess had fulfilled her contract on the season, maybe, for episode orders. I don't know.
She's in the back of the bus with Hazel now.
Yeah, yep.
Even Terry got a line in. Yeah, we only need to pay you.
Michael is threatening. She couldn't even be there to give the question about if it's a sin or whatnot, but she wouldn't have been in that class, I guess. So
nope, yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it from us here tonight, covering our episodes. But John, do you have anything that you want to direct the listeners to?
Boy, I really enjoyed. I've been enjoying listening to your guys' wrap up of the invasion storyline. On the North-South connection. I think that's been really, really exciting, fun to listen to. You guys are doing the Lord's work. There's some pretty lousy stuff in there, but to think that it all comes down from the great invasion of WCW and ECW comes down to The Rock versus Stone Cold. Seems just as the most fitting Vince McMahon way of writing that story.
Yeah.
Right? But that, and of course, I would never want to leave out our guys at the 90210 podcast who are moved into the college years now. And I'll be on one of the episodes coming up. I haven't recorded yet, but I love this season. It is Brenda's last season, and boy, do they get the most out of her in season 4. It's one of the more fun seasons of 90210. If you're a fan of teen melodrama, like you watch Degrassi, I'm sure you're familiar with 90210 as well. So check in on that podcast. Always great revisiting that series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a great time. I enjoy listening to it, especially when it comes out on a Friday. And I'm like, oh, I still have like 3 hours left of work time to put in that 90210 so episode. Yep. As for me, you can mostly find me on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. I have 2 podcasts over there, like John mentioned. One is called Nation Invasion, where I look back on the WCW ECW Alliance versus the WWF in the year 2001. The Survivor Series 2001 watch along pod with me, Steve Riddle, and Jeremy Nichols just drops, where we rate and go over the matches. We talk about who would be on our WCW teams, and why did ECW superstar Jazz debut so late in the invasion angle as well, because that 6-pack challenge had a mystery woman and turned out to be ECW's Jazz. That and much more on the Survivor Series watch along. And that podcast is coming to an end, as later in the month of December, I will do the last Raw and SmackDown of the invasion angled, in my opinion, with Keith Langston for the November 19th and November 22nd Raw and SmackDown. So be on the lookout for that as we are closing out the invasion. Also, I have Extreme Resurrection with my co-host Steve Riddle. As we are in the middle of 2008, we are on the cusp of Backlash 2008, where is a rematch of Kane versus Chavo Guerrero for the ECW title. That and much more as we're charging through 2008. Well, that's going to do it from us here tonight on Pop Goes Degrassi. He's John Kesselika. I'm James Gruenberg, and we will see you next time.